Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will be discussing a topical series, and the topic is series and sequence. So we'll be considering WAEC questions for different years on this topic. If you are new on this channel, kindly help subscribe to this YouTube channel, My Simple Math, and press the notification bell so that you can always receive notification from us whenever we post a new video. So let's dive straight to the business of the day. So we'll start with year 2020 WAEC question. That's question number 8B. The third and ninth terms of an arithmetic progression are 4m minus 2n and 2m minus 8n respectively. We are asked to express the common difference in terms of m and n. So we are given the third and ninth term of the AP to be this and this. So we have to express the common difference in terms of m and n. So let's say, first thing first, we need to remember the formula for arithmetic progression, which is a plus n minus 1 d. Don't forget we have our bracket here. Now, we've been given the nth term for the third term to be 4m minus n. So we just impute our value, our parameters. So we have a plus, because our n is the third, for the third term, we'll put our 3 here, minus 1d. So all we just need to do is to say 3 minus 1 here will give us 2. So we have 2d on this right hand side. So we just say 4m minus 2n equals a plus 2d. So let's call this one equation 1. We do the same thing for the ninth term. Don't forget we are given two of them concurrently, third and ninth term to be third. This is for third term, 4m minus 2n, and this is for the ninth term, 2m minus 8n. So let's do the same thing for the ninth term. Don't forget this 2m minus 8n is for the what? The ninth term. All we just need to do is to apply them through our formula for AP. So for ninth term, we know our nth term to be 2m minus 8n. Don't forget our formula is a plus open bracket n minus 1 close the bracket d. So we just impute our 9, that's the number of term here. So we just say 9 minus 1 will give us 8. So our 2m minus 8n will equals to a plus what? 8d. Don't forget, we say 9 minus 1 here to give us 8. So we call this one our equation 2. Awesome. Remember what the question says, that we should express the common difference in terms of what? M and n. Good. So let's say from our equation 1 that we have here 4m minus 2n equals a plus 2d. That's what we have here. Let's make a the subject of our relation, because we are actually expressing our answer in terms of m and n. We are expressing our common difference, which is d, in terms of what? M and n. So making a the subject of the formula is a means of eliminating our a. So if we say a will now be what? 4m minus 2n. If this plus 2d crosses over the equality sign, it will change to minus 2d. So let's call this one our equation 3. Beautiful. So also we do the same thing for our equation 2. We make a the subject of our relation in this equation 2. So where's our equation 2? Beautiful. Our equation 2 is this 2m minus 8n equals a plus 8d. So let's make a the subject of the relation as we have done before for equation 1. So this is equation 2. Making a the subject of this relation, we say a will equal 2m minus 8n. They are here already. But this plus 8d, the moment it crosses the equality sign, it will change to minus 8d. That's why we have this here. So we call this one equation 4. Beautiful. So we have made equation 1 to be 3. We have made equation 2 to be 4. So we can now work with our equation 3 and 4. Beautiful. So let's equate them, equation 3 and 4. If you are equating this, that means we are saying this our a equals this our a. We are equating 3 and 4. All we are doing is to get our D to be subject of the relation in terms of M and N. That is what the question says. So if we equate A and A, that is from equation 3 and 4, that's what we have here. If we equate 3 and 4, that is A and A. So we are taking 4M minus 2N minus 2D equal 2M minus 8N minus 8D. That's what we have here. 4M minus 2N minus 2D equals 2M minus 8N minus 8D. So all we just need to do is to make D the subject of our formula, because that is what the question says. Let's quickly go back. The question says express the common difference, which is D, in terms of M and N. So that's why we are here now. So let's just take what we have here. We'll just make this the subject of the formula. So all the value that has D, let's put them in one side. So here we have minus 2D. This is it. On this other end, we have minus 8D. So if this minus 8D crosses this equality sign, it will change to plus 8D. That's why we have this here. So equal, these ones are here before minus. This one, we have equal 2M. This is this 2M here, minus 8N minus 8N. So we transfer these ones here. This is plus 4M. The moment it crosses, it changes to minus 4M. This is minus 2N. The moment it crosses, it changes to what? Plus 2N. Beautiful. So let's go. Minus 2D plus 8D. It's just like saying 8 minus 2. So we have 6D. So minus 2D plus 8D will give us what? 6D. Equals, let's bring our M together. We have 2M here minus 4M. Look at it. 2M minus 4M. We have minus 8N. This is it. And we have what? Plus 2N. This is it. Awesome. So we have this here already. So let's do the little addition and subtraction. So we say 2M minus 4M. This one will give us what? Minus 2M. Minus 8N plus 2N. It will give us what? Minus 6N. So we have what we have here. Now coming down here, this our 6D still remain. Look at this. Minus 2M and minus 6N. Something is common. So minus 2 is common. So if you bring out minus 2 here, bring out minus 2 here. So that's why we have this minus 2. If you bring out minus 2, you'll be left with what? M. So if you bring out minus 2 from minus 6N, you'll be left with what? Plus 3N. Beautiful. So having done that, we've been able to bring out what is common here. So we just divide both sides by 6, because we actually want to make D our subject of the formula. So let's divide both sides by 6 such that our 6 here, we cancel 6. Awesome. So 6 here, we cancel this 6, will be left with what? With our D. So we have D here. We have this D here now. That is what the question says. So we are left with what? What we have here, minus 2 into M plus 3N over 6. So we can leave our answer like this, but we can still simplify further such that if we say 2 here, it will give us 1. 2 here, it will give us what? 3. So we are left. Don't forget this minus sign is very key to your results. So we have our D. That is what the question says. We should express D in terms of M and N. So our answer is what? Minus 1 over 3 open bracket M plus N. Awesome. So that's our answer. Let's dive straight to the next question. The next question is WAEC question year 2019, question 11A. Question 11A. Let's see. The third and sixth terms of a geometric progression are 1 over 4 and 1 over 32 respectively. So by implication, it means the third term of a GP is 1 over 4 and the sixth term of that GP is 1 over 32. The question now says we should find the first term and the common ratio. The second one says we should find the seventh term. Don't forget, in AP we use common difference, in GP we use common ratio. So first thing first, let's get the formula for GP. It's just AR raised to power n minus 1, where our A is the first term, our R is the common ratio, our n is the number of term. So for third term, don't forget in the question, for the third term, the GP is 1 over 4. That's the nth term. So for third term, the GP is 1 over 4. That's the nth term. So we just impute our formula AR n minus 1. Our n in this case is the third, the 3. 3 minus 1. So we just impute, because we have our nth term already. So 3 minus 1 here will give us what? 2. So we'll be left with what? 1 over 4 equals AR raised to power 2. Let's call that one equation 1. We apply the same thing for the second one, because they say the sixth term of the GP is 1 over 32. We go through the same process. Awesome. For the sixth term, we know the nth term already to be 1 over 32. We apply our formula ARn minus 1 raised to power n minus 1. So our n in this case is what? 6. So we'll be left with 1 over 32 equals 6 minus 1 will give us what? 5 equals AR raised to power 5. Let's call that one equation 2. Now, all we want to do is to get our first term and our common ratio. Now, having done that, because in this case we don't have addition or subtraction in between, so we just divide. We divide equation 2 by equation 1. This is our equation 2, and this is our equation, okay, this is our equation 2 up here, and our equation 1 is here. So with that, we can now say dividing 2 by 1 will make our job to be easier. So look at this. We have AR raised to power what? 5. And down here we have AR raised to power 2. So if we say AR raised to power 2 will cancel here. If we remove AR raised to power 2, we remove it here as well, we'll be left with what? R raised to power 3. Because this A will cancel this A. This R will cancel this R. Look at this power. We have this R twice here. We have it 5 times here. So if we remove it, this 2 that we have here, in this 5 will be left with what? R raised to power 3. Awesome. So we are left with 1 over 32 divided by 1 over 4. We are still doing the same thing here. 1 over 32 divided by 1 over 4. But if this division sign, if we change it to what? Times multiplication, the denominator here will change to the numerator, and the numerator will change to what? The denominator. By implication, it means this will go up and this will go down. Reason because we have changed this divide to times to multiplication. Beautiful. So we are left with what? Our R raised to power 3 equals 1 over 32 times 4 over 1. So if we say 4 here, we give us 1. 4 in 32 will give us 8. So we are left with what? 1 over 8. That's our R raised to power 3. Beautiful. So with that, how are we going to make R the subject of this formula now? How are we going to eliminate this cube? All we just need to do is to what? To cube root both sides. We cube root this side and cube root this side. So this is what we have done here, such that this cube root, we cancel this cube, we'll be left with R here equals cube root of what? 1 over 8. Now when we say cube root, we cannot leave our answer this way because we can still simplify further. If we say cube root of 8, it means which number are we going to multiply 3 times? That will give us 8. That is what it simply means. And that is 2. If you say 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 will give you what? 8. So that is why 1, there is nothing you can do to 1. 1 will still remain 1, but we can work on 8. 8 will give us what? 3. The cube root of 8 is 2. That's why we have 1 over 2 as our R, which is our common ratio. Awesome. Now that we've gotten our common ratio, we need to put our r in either equation 1 or 2. Don't forget, this is our equation 1. So doing that will make us to get our first term, which is our a. Don't forget what the question says. Let's quickly check. The question says we should find the first term and the common ratio. So we've gotten the common ratio. What is left for us is to get the what? The first term. Beautiful. Now we'll just put our r, our common ratio that we've gotten, in either equation 1 or 2. So let's just pick one. Let's pick equation 1. Good. If you pick equation 2, you still get the same answer. So our equation 1 says 1 over 4 equals a r raised to power 2. That's our equation 1. But we've gotten our r to be 1 over 2. So let's just impute our 1 over 2 in our equation 1. So we have 1 over 4 equals our a, which is our first term that we're actually looking for. We've gotten our r to be 1 over 2. So we'll square it. Beautiful. So here, if you say 1 over 2 square, we give you 1 over 4. Reason being that if you say, because this square is for this one and this 2, if you say 1 square will still give you 1, but 2 square will give you what? 4. So if you just say 1 times a, we give you a over 4. That's why we have 1 over 4 equals a over 4. Beautiful. So if you cross multiply here, if you cross multiply what you have here, so your 4 will times a, that's why we have our 4a here. Your 1 will times 4. So 1 times 4 will give us 4. 4 times a will give us 4a. Awesome. So if you making a the subject of this formula, now if you divide both sides by 4, if you divide here by 4 and you divide here by 4, 4 will cancel 4, will be left with a. So 4 divided by 4 will give us 1. So therefore our first time is what? 1. We've gotten our common ratio to be what? 1 over 2. So that answered the first question. Our first term is 1, our common ratio is 1 over 2. So straight to the second question. We have to find the 7th term. The 7th term. This our job has been made easier now. The 7th term. We know our first term, which is a to be 1. Our common ratio to be 1 over 2. This time around, we have to look for the 7th term. That will be our n. So our n will be 7. We just impute all this in this formula and we get our 7th term. So our first term is 1. Our common ratio 1 over 2. Our n is 7. We just say 7 minus 1 will give us what? 6. 1 times 1 over 2 will still give us 1 over 2. Raised to power 6. Beautiful. So if you say 1 raised to power 6, it will still give us 1. But if you say 2 raised to power 6, it will give us what? 64. That means you are raising 2 to the power of 6, 2 into 6 places. 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8, 8 times 2, 16, 16 times 2, 32, 32 times 2, will give us what? 64. So our 7th term of this geometric progression is what? 1 over 64. If our first term is 1, our common ratio is 1 over 2, our 7th term will be what? 1 over 64. Awesome. Let's dive straight to the third question. WAEC question year 2017, question number 4. If the 6th term of an arithmetic progression is 37 and the sum of the first 6 term is 1 over 147, we have to find the first term. We have to find the sum of the first 15 term. Look at this, a little bit trickish. The 6th term of an AP, arithmetic progression, to be 37. Now the second statement now says, and the sum of the first 6th term is 147. You know, in series and sequence, arithmetic progression is actually different from sum of arithmetic progression. By that I mean, AP is different from sum of AP. But these two statements here are a little bit different. Here we have the 6th term of an AP, and here we have the sum of the first 6th term of AP, 147. This one, the 6th term of AP is what? 37. So let's work with the first statement first, which says the 6th term of an AP is 37. The 6th term, That means the nth term is that 37, like we know before that the formula for our AP is A plus, open bracket, n minus 1, close the bracket, D, where our A is the first term, our n is the number of term, and our D is the common difference. This is our nth term. In this statement here, we've been given the nth term to be what? 37. So the number of term here is 6. So let's put that vis-a-vis our formula. So for our system now, we know the nth term to be 37. Our A we don't know. That's our first term. The n is the number of term, which is 6 minus 1. Our D we don't know. In this case, we don't know our first term. We don't know our common difference. So 6 minus 1 here will give us what? 5. So we are left with what? A plus 5D. That's why we have it here. A plus 5D. We know our nth term already to be 37 because we've been given that the system of the AP is what? 37. So let's call that one equation 1. Now the second statement, they now said, and the sum of the first system, sum of AP this time around, we've been given the nth term to be 147, but we are dealing with sum here. Formula for sum of AP is quite different for AP. If you have not seen our video on this YouTube channel on series and sequence for AP and GP, kindly check this YouTube channel. It was explained explicitly here. So just let's check the formula for sum of AP. Here we come. The formula for sum of AP is n over 2, open bracket, 2a plus, you have this, n minus 1, you close this one, then D, you close the bracket. Our parameter still remains the same. Our n is the number of term, our A first term, our D common difference. This is actually our nth term. This is the formula for sum of AP. So we'll be applying this for the second statement. We've been given the nth term for the sum of the AP to be 147. Our number of term, because we were told that is 6, the sixth term. So our n is 6. We don't know our A. We don't know our D. So let's quickly see what we can do here. 6 divided by 2 will give us 3. We have our 2A here. 6 minus 1 will give us what? 5. 5 times D will give us 5D. So we have 3 open brackets. 2A plus 5D will close the bracket. So let's open up this bracket. We'll say 3 times 2A will give us what? 6A plus 3 times 5D will give us what? 15D. Now, having done that, you will see that we now have 147 equals 6A plus what? 15D. Looks like this equation 1 that we have. So, we've been able to simplify the statement for AP and the statement for sum of AP. So, this one is now equation 1 and this one here is equation what? 2. So, we can now solve equation 1 and 2 simultaneously. Awesome. Now, in simultaneous equation, if you have not seen our video on simultaneous equation, you can also check this YouTube channel, because we have different methods. You can use substitution method, you can use elimination method. Any one you decide to use will still work out. But here, let's use substitution method to solve equation 1 and 2. So let's take equation 1. Don't forget our equation 1 is right here. Beautiful. 37 equals A plus 5D. That's our equation 1. So from equation 1, we have 37 equals A plus 5D. Let's just make A the subject of it. We are actually looking for A, which is our first term, and D, which is the common ratio. Don't forget, the question actually says we should look for our first term, but we cannot get one without getting the other. So it is very important for us to get both the first term and the common difference. So making A the subject of this formula, this is our A. 37 is already here. Beautiful. A is already standing alone. But if this plus 5D crosses the equality sign, it is changed to what? Minus 5D. That's why we have A equals 37 equals A equals 37 minus 5D. So let's name that equation 3. Since our A has been represented with something, so let's put equation 3 in equation 2. These are equation 2. 147 equals 6A plus 15D. By implication, it means anywhere we see A in equation 2, we put 37 minus 5D here. That's what we've done. Okay, let's go. This is our equation 2. 147 equals 6a plus 15d. Where is our a? 37 minus 5d. Good. So anywhere we see a, we put 37 minus 5d. That's what we've done here. 37 minus 5d. So let's open up this bracket that we have here. 6 times 37 will give us 222 minus 6 times 5d will give us what? 30d. So we come here plus 15d. Beautiful. So let's collect our like terms. We have 147 here already. If this 222 crosses this equality sign, it will change to minus. That's how we have this here. Equal. We have our minus 30d here already. We have our plus 15d. Beautiful. So if we say 147 minus 222, that will give us a negative result, minus 75, equal minus 30d plus 15d will give us minus 15d. Beautiful. All we just need to do is to make d the subject of our formula. But this minus can cancel out this minus. So we have 75 equals 15d. So if we divide both sides, here by 15, here by 15, that's why we have 15 will cancel 15, will be left with what? D here. So 75 divided by 15 will give us 5. We've been able to get our D, our common difference. Good. So the question actually asks us to look for the first term, but we can't get our first term without getting our common difference. So also we can't get our common difference without getting our first term. So either way, because we are still going to need them. So we've gotten our common difference D to be what? To be 5. So let's put our D to be 5 in equation 1. Our equation 1 still remains 37 equals A plus 5D. Awesome. So we know our D now to be 5. So anywhere we see D, we put 5 there. So 37 equals A plus 5. Our D is 5. 5, open bracket, 5. So if we multiply this 5 times 5, it will give us what? 25. Beautiful. So we now have 37 equals A plus 25. Let's make A the subject of this formula. A is standing alone. So 37 is here already. If this 25 crosses the equality sign, it changes to what? Minus 25. So if you say 37 minus 25, it will give us what? 12. So our A, which is our first time, is what? 12. Therefore, our first time is what? 12. We've gotten our first time. That is what the question requires from us. So let's go to the second one. We say we should find the sum of the 15th term. Like we've said before, the formula for sum of AP is n over 2. When you open this bracket, 2a plus, open bracket, n minus 1d, close it, then d. N minus 1d, you close this bracket. Beautiful. Now, we are asked to look for the sum of the first 15th term. Sum of the 15th term. So our n will be 15. We know our a already to be 12. We know our d already to be 5. You see, we are now making use of d. Though the question did not require this from us, but we need it now. Awesome. Just put in your parameter and there you go. Let's go. Our a is 12, our d is 5, our n is 15. So 15 over 2 here. We are just imputing our value in our formula. We have our 2 here, our a is 12 here, our n is 15 here, our d is 5. Just say 2 times 12 will give us 24. 15 minus 1 will give us 14. So if we say 14 times 5 here, that 14 times 5 will give us what? 70. Our 24 is here already. Just say 24 plus 70 will give us what? 94. All we just need to do is to say 94 times 15 will give us 1410. We have our 2 here already. So 1410 divided by 2 will give us 705. That is the sum of the 15th term. Awesome. Let's dive straight to the next one. WAEC question year 2016. Because this is a video, if you have any issue, you can always pause, rewind to get more clarification on any question. WAEC question year 2016. Question 6a. The question says, find the sum of the arithmetic progression AP 1, 3, 5, all to 101. Look at this question. Small, but a lot of details are there. We have to look for the sum of this AP. Now, looking at this progression that we have here, our first term is 1, look at this series. We have 1, 3, 5. By implication, you know that our common difference here will be 2, sorry, because we say 3 minus 1 will give us 2, 5 minus 3 will give us 2. So our common difference is automatically what? 2. So we know our first term. We don't know our number of terms because there are hidden details here. We know our first term to be 1. We know our common difference to be 2. We know our nth term, the end result to be 101, but we don't know our number of terms. And we have to look for the sum of the AP. We can't get the sum of the AP without getting our what? Our n. So let's use what we have here. The formula for sum of AP, we know them already. We've said it over and over again. Now, our n, we don't know. Our a is 1. That's the first term. Our d, that's the common difference, 2. Our nth term, 101. And we have to look for the what? Sum of the AP. So, we have every other details, but we don't have our n. So, we can't solve this. All we need to do is to look for our n first. So, how do we get our n? We are going to use the formula for AP. Since we've been given the nth term of an AP, we can get the value of our n by using formula for AP. And we still remember that formula for our AP, the nth term equals a plus open bracket n minus 1d, where our n is what? Our a is our first term, our n is our number of term, our d is the common difference. Here we know our d already to be 2. We don't know our n. We know our a to be 1, our nth term to be 101. Good. So with this, we are going to get our n. So if we say n minus 1, open bracket and close bracket 2, just open up this bracket. 2 times n will give us what? 2n here, minus 2 times 1 will give us what? 2. Beautiful. Now, this bracket has been opened up. So, what do we have here? 2n. Look at this minus 2. This is just a rearrangement. This is plus 1. So, our 2n minus 2 plus 1 will give us what? Minus 1. Beautiful. So, let's collect like times. If this minus 1 crosses this equality sign, it change to what? Plus 1 equals 2n. Awesome. So, 101 plus 1 will give us 102 plus 2n. So, we just divide both sides by 2 so that our n can stand alone. That's what we are looking for. So, if we divide here by 2, here by 2, 2 will cancel 2, our n will stand alone. So, we now have 102 divided by 2 will give us what? 51. Beautiful. So, we've gotten our n. So, we can now impute our n here and get the sum for our AP. So, the sum for our AP, this is our formula. This is the formula that we have here. Good. So, we have our n now. Look at it, 51. We just impute it here, 51 over 2. 2a, our a is 1 already. We know our n now, 51. We know our d, ab initio, to be 2. So, we just impute all these. 51 minus 1 will give us 50. 2 times 1 here will give us 2. 50 times 2 here will give us 100. So, we just say 100 plus 2 will give us 102. So, if you now say this 102 times 51, it will give us what? 5,202 divided by 2. And the sum of that AP will be what? 2,601. And the last question, WAEC question year 2015, question number 9a. The first term of an AP is minus 8. The ratio of the 7th term to the 9th term is 5:8. We have to find the common difference of the AP. We have to look for the common difference. Now, we are given the first term to be minus 8. Now, the ratio of the 7th term to 9th term. So, this 7th term is 5. This 9th term is 8. In ratio form, we have to look for the what? Common difference. So, this is just a way of putting some intrigues in the question. So, the same process, our AP is a plus n minus 1, close the bracket, d where is our a is our first term, n number of term, d is the what? Common difference. We are giving our a this time around to be minus 8. Now they say the ratio, don't forget, the ratio is in this form. It's just like we are dividing. So 7th ratio 9th equals 5:8. So let's just put it in this form. 7th divided by 9th Then we have 5 divided by 8. Let's call this one equation 1. So let's work with what we have up here. Then we work with what we have down here. Then we just divide it. And we are home and dry. So from this our formula, our 7th term we've been given to be 5. This is its 7th term to be 5. And the 9th term to be 8. Beautiful. Let's just input that in our formula. This is the nth term, which is 5. We know our first term already to be minus 8 because we are dealing with 7th term. This is 7 minus 1d. Don't forget, the question says we should look for what? The common difference, which is d. So that's what we are looking for. Now, if you say 7 minus 1 will give you 6. 6 times d will give you what? 6d. That is why we have this 5 equals minus 8 plus 6d. So we'll call that one equation 2. We know our equation 1 already. That's the ratio format that was given here. So we do the same to the second statement. The 9th term, the ratio of the 9th term, that one is 8. The ratio for the 7th term, that one is 5. So we know for our 9th term now, let's quickly do that here. Because the nth term is 8, this is it. We have our first term already to be minus 8 plus 9th term, that's the number of term, that's 9 minus 1d. So if 9 minus 1 will give us 8, 8 times d will give us what? 8d. That's why we have 8 equals minus 8 plus 8d. That's what we have here. 8 equals minus 8 plus 8d. So we say that one is what? Equation 3. So because we are dealing in ratio, we are working in ratio form. So let's relate this our equation 2 that we have here and this equation 3 that we have here to this equation 1 that we have here. We just impute all we have in equation 2 up here. All we have in equation 3 down here. Awesome. So don't forget, this is where we have 7th ratio 9th in position form equals 5 ratio 8. This is what we have here. So for 7th, look at it. For 7th, these are our results. This is it. For this 5, this is it. So we just have minus 8 plus 6d. This is it. For 9th, that we have here, this is it. For 9th, the result is minus 8 plus 8d. This is it. Minus 8 plus 8d. Awesome. Beautiful. So, all we just need to do is to cross multiply what we have here and cross multiply what we have here. Beautiful. So, having done that, it means this 5 will multiply all we have here. This 8 will multiply all we have here. So 5 times minus 8 plus 8d, this is it. Then 8 times minus 8 plus 6d, this is it. So let's open up the bracket. 5 times minus 8 will give us what? Minus 40. It's just like saying 5 times 8 is 40. This minus sign will come. It will reflect. 5 times 8d will give us what? Plus 40d. We are done with this. On our left hand side, 8 times 8 will give us 64, but we have our minus here. 8 times 6 will give us 48, but we have our d. So 8 times 6d will give us what? 48d. Beautiful. So let's just collect our like terms. We have our 40d here. This plus 48d. The moment it crosses the equality sign, it changes to what? Minus 48d. We have our minus 64 here already. This minus 40, the moment it crosses, it changes to what? Plus 40. Awesome. So 40d minus 48d will give us what? Minus 8d. Minus 64 plus 40, it will give us what? Minus 24. Whichever way you want to have it. So these are minus. We cancel out this minus. We are left with what? 8d equals 24. Divide both sides by what? By 8 to make d the subject of the formula. So 8 we cancel 8. We are left with d. And our 24 divided by 8 will give us 3. Beautiful. So our common difference as required by the question. Look at it. The question says find the common difference of the AP. So we've been able to get our common difference, which is what? D, by saying 24 divided by 8. Beautiful. You can always pause, rewind this video for better clarification and understanding. If there is any area that you are not clear with, you can pause Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, My Simple Maths, and kindly help press the notification bell so that you can always receive notification from us whenever we post a new video. Thank you.